Hello, everyone. We are Group 5, and today we will be talking about how social media affects adolescents. My name is Jacob Lawson. I'll be talking about how online politics affects adolescents.
Hi, my name is Matthew Ghosh, and I will be discussing the physical effects of social media on the body.
Hi, my name is Samara Williams, and I will be talking about how social media impacts relationships.
Hi, I'm Yohanna Yubwannie, and I'll be talking about social media's impact on adolescent mental health.
Many adolescents use the internet today, even to the point where the term iPad baby is widely used. However, we all know that the internet can be a very toxic and crude place for minors. Today, we'll be talking about some of the effects that adolescents face from being on the internet and what we can do about them. Hi, everyone. I will be talking about the impacts of social media when it comes to adolescents interacting with online politics. As you know, the internet is a great place to learn and share ideas, which also applies to politics. This can be good for adolescents that are starting to explore the larger world and its new ideas. However, politics can be a very toxic and dangerous place for curious kids. Since adolescents are susceptible to the fear and stress that politics brings and the possibility to consume misinformation. Fair. These effects are often in a cycle together and many times are bundled together in politically charged social media posts. This is why I would like to talk about how political fear and misinformation are often exploiting young people's still developing minds and are hard to escape from. As you know, the brain takes a long time to develop. The National Institute of Mental Health says that although the brain stops growing in size by early adolescence, the brain finishes developing and maturing in the mid to late 20s. This amount of time allows for the human brain to fully develop its complex inner workings. However, we both know that kids are given access to the internet long before their mid to late 20s. This means that adolescents are often growing in every aspect of their lives when they are introduced to the internet. This means that when they start to use the internet, they are less equipped to process political conversations, have no or are still developing their coping mechanisms, and have a hard time correctly identifying misinformation. In a Stanford study, a national sample of 3,446 US high school students were tested on their ability to identify misinformation or bias. They found in one test that 52% of students believed that a grainy video claiming to show ballot stuffing in the 2016 Democratic primaries constituted strong evidence of voter fraud in the US. However, the twist for this test was that the video was actually filmed in Russia. In another test, students were shown a climate change website and asked to check its credibility. Stanford reported that 96% of students did not consider why ties between a climate change website and the fossil fuel industry might lessen the website's credibility. Students focused on superficial markers of credibility, the site's aesthetics, its top-level domain, or how it portrayed itself on the About page. These basic examples show how adolescents and teens can overlook or be misdirected by media that is meant to trick them. As you can see, this is the website they were shown. It's CO2 Science. On the left, you can see on the left in the middle that it is science talking about how more CO2 is good for plants, which can be misleading. So this is an example of how misinformation can trick teens. However, this also shows that teens aren't as good at identifying misinformation as they claim. Next, I would like to talk about how politics can often be hard to escape from on social media. This is because social media platforms use algorithms to determine what content users see. An algorithm, as defined by Britannica, is a specific procedure for solving a well-defined computational problem. In our case, we are looking at a recommendation algorithm that has a procedure for keeping a user on a website. This is done by recommending content on the site that the user would want to click on. However, since political content often relies on playing with the emotions of its reader, it often attracts more clicks and watch time. This then leads the social media site to recommend more political content and start a cycle of recommendations. This can lead to adolescents spending more time on political topics than they would have otherwise. In a study, Nicole Capornio from American University studied adolescents and their caregivers on how often the adolescents worried about political issues. Capornio found that youth are worrying about a wide range of issues, and especially those that disproportionately affect their generation. Although this worry is not frequent, on average, it appears to be widespread regardless of caregivers' political party affiliation. I believe that this worry in adolescence is caused by social media, since many adolescents use social media and have been affected by the political recommendation phenomenon. So, when the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychology reports that surveys show that 90% of teens ages 13 to 17 have used social media, it is very easy to see that modern adolescents are worrying about political problems because they have been exposed too early or too frequently. Adolescents are very vulnerable when it comes to being tricked by misinformation. This is because adolescents are still developing their minds and their emotional capabilities. Adolescents are also vulnerable to recommendation algorithms, overexposing them to political content. This leads them to be exposed to political topics for too long and become anxious about them. These effects can be reduced by educating young people on misinformation and emotional coping techniques. Both of these issues, at their core, exploit an adolescent's lack of understanding or knowledge on a topic. In the case of misinformation, if the teens have been taught to look at deeper factors or how to effectively fact check, then maybe more of the teens would have spotted bias and misinformation. In the case of political fear, if an adolescent knows they are being overexposed to political content by a recommendation algorithm, then they can act accordingly. Thank you for listening.
All right, I will be talking about the physical impacts of social media on the body. So the impact of social media on physical health is a topic that has been widely discussed in recent years. With over 4 billion people worldwide currently using one or more social media platforms, it's important that we understand the positive and negative effects that social media has on your physical health. So on the positive side, social media can be a useful tool for promoting physical health. For instance, social media platforms provide access to a wide range of health and fitness information, including exercise routines, healthy eating tips, and wellness advice. This information can be especially helpful for people who may not have access to a gym or personal trainer. Additionally, social media can provide support and motivation for an individual who may be working towards a fitness goal or through an online community or support group. Social media can also increase awareness of certain health issues and promote healthy behaviors. For example, social media campaigns can be used to raise awareness about the dangers of smoking or the importance of getting a vaccine. Moreover, social media can encourage healthy behaviors such as drinking water, inviting users to participate in challenges that share their progress. However, there's a dark side to this, and social media can have negative effects on your physical health. One major issue is the impact of social media on your sleep. Many people spend hours, including me, scrolling through social media feeds before they go to bed, which can disrupt your sleep patterns. This lack of sleep negatively impacts many aspects of our bodies, including to NIH. The amount of sleep you get impacts hormone levels, your heart, circulatory system, and your metabolism. In children or adolescents, hormones are important for puberty and are on a 24-hour cycle. During sleep, your body releases hormones and pulses that tell your body to make testosterone, estrogen, or progesterone. Disruption of sleep patterns due to being up all night scrolling on social media causes a disruption in this pulsing, resulting in fewer of those hormones being produced or released. When it comes to the heart and cardiovascular health, sleep is essential to giving the system a break. When you enter non-REM sleep, blood pressure and heart rate drop, so the heart doesn't have to work as hard. According to the NIH, people who do not get enough sleep are more likely to have cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and obesity. Metabolism is also affected by sleep deprivation. For example, the circadian clocks that make sure that your liver is prepared to help digest fats at an appropriate time. Your body may handle fat differently if you eat at an unusual time. Additionally, studies show that a lack of sleep can lead to decreased ability to respond to insulin and increased consumption of sweets and fatty foods. This altered ability to process food leaves the body tired, leading to physical inactivity. Speaking of physical inactivity, we're all guilty of it. Spending hours in front of a TV screen, scrolling through social media, watching TV, Netflix, anything like that, instead of engaging in physical activity. Research finds that this is bad, as a bad habit, and forms some damaging effects. According to Medical News Today, fewer than 3 in 10 high school students get a minimum of 60 minutes a day of physical activity, which is recommended by both the CDC and World Health Organization. Studies show that continually living a sedentary lifestyle increases your risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and multiple types of cancer. So, the simple solution here is to get up and move. According to the Mayo Clinic, it is recommended that adults get 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week. This could include walking, swimming, or even playing sports with your friends. It's also recommended that adults engage in strength training at least 2 times per week. This includes working all muscle groups to the point of tiring them. For some, it may be difficult to reach these recommendations because of work, school, or other events in your life. In that case, try breaking your activity up into smaller chunks throughout your day. Even if the goal isn't the amount of physical activity is beneficial to your health. Exercise not only helps in maintaining a healthy weight, but it improves cardiovascular health, strengthens your bones, muscles, and reduces your risk of chronic diseases, such as heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. So in conclusion, while social media has its benefits, it's essential to be aware of its potential negative effects on your health. While social media can promote physical health by providing access to health and fitness information and promoting healthy behaviors, it can also impact physical health negatively by disrupting sleep, encouraging sedentary behavior, and therefore it is important to use social media in moderation and be mindful of the potential negative effects on physical health by becoming more active. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Samara, and I will be discussing the impact of social media on relationships. So, the use of social media can not only impact an individual personally, but it can also impact how they interact with those around them. The American Psychological Association recently published an article discussing social media's effect on relationships. It stated that one particular pernicious concern is whether time spent on social media sites is eating away at face-to-face time, a phenomenon known as social displacement. Social displacement is a term referring to the amount of time a person spends on social media instead of having face-to-face interactions. As more time is spent on social media and through communicating virtually, it reduces the amount of time an individual spends with family, friends, or significant others. In relation to social displacement, there have been connections made between those who experience this phenomenon and those who discuss feeling lonely. The National Library of Medicine conducted a study looking at social media use and social connectedness among adolescents. This study found that increased social media use among younger populations has led to weaker social ties rather than improved relationships among friends and families. The National Library of Medicine stated that evidence found that time spent using digital technology displaced time spent engaging offline with parents, resulted in problematic parent-to-adolescent offline interactions. In addition to social media causing social displacement, the use of social media has also been associated with an overall decline in interactions. A recently published article by Medical News Today describes how social media affects the amount of quality time an individual spends with those special to them. Medical News Today found in a study conducted that 59% of social media users reported that prolonged use of social media had impacted their social interactions negatively, impacting their family relationships and friendships while also making face-to-face communication more difficult. In addition to social media contributing to a decline in interactions, the use of social media also contributes to a decrease in quality time and relationship satisfaction. Many social media sites have been noted as addictive, since many users feel the need to check their profiles throughout the day continually. As many users frequently use social media, in many scenarios, it has been a possible cause of increasing conflict within relationships and contributing to adverse outcomes. While there are quite a few adverse reactions to relationships from the use of social media, there are some positives. One of the main positive effects social media has on relationships is that it helps with connectivity. Social media allows for communication between individuals from nearly anywhere in the world. Families and friends can communicate from different locations through various social media platforms. The communication abilities many of these sites provide allowed for people to stay in touch, allowing them to feel more connected. Another benefit that can be gained within relationships from social media is the ability to meet other people. On many platforms, individuals can meet people who might share similar interests or passions to them. New friendships and relationships can be formed, allowing many people the opportunity to meet people they might not have otherwise got to know. Social media contributes significantly to the relationships that any individual is in. As described by the American Psychological Association, social displacement heavily impacts the face-to-face time many have on a day-to-day basis. The lack of in-person interaction social media sometimes can cause has been a contributing factor to increased strain on relationships, many times ending negatively. In addition to social displacement, social media has also been noted to impact relationship satisfaction and amount of quality time. The sometimes addictive nature of social media sites has led many individuals to prioritize time spent checking various sites and places spending quality time with family or friends. While there are negative effects social media has on relationships, there also are positive. With social media, communication is greatly improved. People are able to talk with each other from anywhere, allowing more people to stay in touch and improve connection. In addition to communication, social media allows people to meet new people with similar interests that they might not have ever met. In conclusion, social media is a tool that impacts relationships not only negatively, but if used correctly, can be beneficial. Thank you.
You're muted. Also, you need to full screen. Thank you.
Okay.
Full screen the window. Little box in the top
Yeah,
right.
it won't let me. Hold on.
The square in the top right. There you go.
Yeah, I know. It was just the top bar was covering the. Okay. So I'm Yohanna, and I'm going to be talking about social media's impact on adolescent mental health. Social media has become an integral part of modern society. Okay. Allowing people from all over the world to connect and interact with one another in ways like never before. The positive implications of social media are undeniable as it has created social spaces and outlets for communication and relationship building, as well as provided a platform for the sharing of ideas, styles, and creativity. However, with the rise of social media, has come an increased awareness of the potential negative implications it can have on mental health. My specific focus will be on how social media impacts the body image and mental health of adolescents and the problems that are linked to negative body image. Social media, oh my gosh. Adolescence is a very vulnerable stage of development as there are several physical and neurological changes taking place rapidly. Adolescence is also a time of significant social and emotional development as individuals begin to form their sense of identity and establish relationships with peers and even romantic partners. This process can be challenging as adolescents may experience social pressure and peer influence, leading to feelings of rejection, exclusion, or low self-esteem. Moreover, the emotional regulation systems of adolescents are not yet fully developed, which can make it difficult to manage intense emotions and navigate complex social interactions. Considering that adolescence is such a vital period of development where individuals are more vulnerable to external influences, it's not unexpected that social media would significantly affect the self-perceptions of adolescents to a greater extent. A case study was conducted by the Mental Health Foundation, focusing on 14 and 15-year-olds over the span of 3 years. The results from this study showed that internalization of ideal body shapes promoted within the media predicted negative emotions about appearance, which in turn predicted unhealthy eating behaviors. Negative body image resulting from social media use has been linked to the development of BDD, or body dysmorphic disorder, which is characterized by a hyperfixation on self-perceived flaws that are typically unnoticeable to others. While people of any age can suffer from BDD, it is most common in teenagers. Social media plays a significant role in the development of this disorder by promoting unrealistic beauty standards against which people begin to compare themselves. Excessive consumption of this content can worsen BDD and lead to eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa or bulimia nervosa. The National Eating Disorders Collaboration defines body image as a combination of thoughts and feelings that you have about your body and can range between positive and negative experiences. Body image is linked to self-esteem as it dictates how a person feels about themselves. Middle school students were the subjects for a recent study that provides evidence of a link between social media usage and the heightened likelihood of developing an eating disorder. The study discovered that approximately 52% of girls and 45% of boys engage in behaviors that are typically associated with eating disorders, such as excessive exercise and skipping meals. And of all the participants of this study, 75% of girls and 70% of boys were found to have at least one active social media account. The issue of cyberbullying and harassment is one of the most pervasive and pressing concerns within the realm of social media. Extensive research indicates that the persistent nature of cyberbullying can result in more severe and long-lasting negative consequences for victims than traditional bullying, with depression symptoms being one of the most common outcomes. Furthermore, Ybarra and Mitchell's preliminary investigation done in 2004 revealed that among individuals who engage in cyberbullying, 39% dropped out of school, 37% exhibited delinquent behavior, 32% frequently abused substances, and 16% suffered from severe depression. In conclusion, the numerous studies shown have identified the significant link between excessive social media use and the range of mental health concerns among adolescents. While the reasons for this association can be complex, it should be noted that social media can also have positive effects on mental health, such as providing opportunities for social connection, education, and self-expression. Therefore, it is crucial to understand the nature of social media's influence on adolescent mental health and develop effective interventions to promote healthy social media use. All in all, social media impacts our lives in several different ways. It can affect how we form our own political opinions, the physical health of our bodies, how we form and maintain relationships, and finally, it affects our mental health, our body image and self-esteem, our mental health, our body image and self-esteem. Because social media plays such a huge role in our lives, it is important that we understand the benefits and shortcomings of using social media. It can be a vast tool for understanding new topics, but it can easily misguide you or twist your emotions. Social media can allow for an infinite amount of entertainment and comfort, but can make people forget to take care of themselves. Finally, social media can be an amazing place to improve yourself, but can tear down your own image doing so. The uses of social media are endless. However, adolescents often do not understand the shortcomings or consequences of using the internet. They should be taught how to overcome its shortcomings so a generation of children do not fall victim to the misuse of social media. That's it.